Hey guys, welcome to the Massive Iron channel. I'm Steve Shaw. In this video, we're going to continue with the Learning from the Legend series. In this video, Serges Nutrition. Before I get into this topic, if you guys need coaching, check out the link down below. Coaching is what I do for a living. I would love to help. All right, so we have an interesting one today. I did a video on Marvin Eder a few weeks back. Serges Nutrition is a very misunderstood bodybuilder. He did a lot of high volume work. Some people equate that with him being weak or just doing pumpy stuff. We're going to dive into how he ate, how he trained, and a little bit on his background. Now, Serges Nutrition was nicknamed the Black Panther. He had a very sleek physique, and he was given this nickname basically because of the look of his physique and his stage presence. He relocated from Guadeloupe to France as a teen, and that is where he kind of collided with the world of bodybuilding. Born in 1938, Serge went on to win the 1966 Mr. Europe, the 1976 Mr. Universe, and the 1977 Mr. World. In 1973, he was the heavyweight runner-up to Arnold Schwarzenegger in the Mr. Olympia. I believe second that year was the lightweight Franco Columbu. But first was Arnold, second in the heavyweight was Serges Nutrition. Now, let's talk about his eating philosophy. Serge's diet was really high in protein and it was calorie dense. He totaled anywhere between 4,000 to 6,000 calories a day. That sounds like a lot until you look at his workout protocol. We're going to dive into that a little bit, but he did upwards of 2,000 sit-ups a day. He primarily ate red meat, rice, and eggs. These were his staples. He often consumed up to 6 pounds of horse meat and steak. Hey, man, I don't know what's going on there. You tell me, but that's what he ate, along with rice and a moderate amount of fruits and vegetables. Unlike modern low-carb trends, Nutrition embraced carbohydrates to fuel his intense training, relying on the intuitive approach to eating rather than rigid dieting, often saying his body told him what to eat or told him what it needed. Now, his training philosophy was very interesting. He did a lot of high volume training, performing up to 30 to 40 sets per muscle group and working within the 12 to 20 repetition range. He would work out each body part basically twice a week in a very high volume, high rep approach. And because of this, you can see misconceptions rolling around the internet that he was very pump focused and might not have been necessarily strong. Nothing could be further from the truth. Now, his sessions could last for several hours, but he emphasized really solid, proper form and controlled tempo to maximize muscle engagement. So when he was doing these high rep sets, they were very controlled and focused like I teach in the Massive Iron world, not just pushing out reps on the bench press, but controlling things. Serges Nutrition had that same type of focus. He believed in mind-muscle connection, advocating for an intense focus on the target muscle during every rep. Serge avoided heavy training in favor of moderate weights, and this is where people get tripped up, and higher repetitions, which contributed to his exceptional muscle definition and shape. Now let's get into the training misconceptions, because when we talk about high volume and a little bit higher rep ranges, people assume that when we say moderate weight, he wasn't pushing a lot of weight around. Nothing could be further from the truth. The misconception number one was that Serge was not that strong. While Serge focused on aesthetics, he was deceptively strong. Nutrition reportedly benched over 500 pounds at his peak, disproving the notion that he was just about looks. Another misconception was that his workouts are impossible to replicate. Many have doubted the sheer volume and intensity of his training, but Nutrition insisted that it was achievable with discipline and conditioning over time. He believed this style was sustainable if one prioritized recovery and proper nutrition. Now, I will add as a caveat, and just as a little bit of commentary, if you're going to do a lot of repetition on the same movement patterns, you have to be very aware of the punishment on the body. It is very easy to pick up overuse injuries. So if you engage in this type of training, make sure to adjust based on how it's feeling in the gym. If you're going to do 10 sets of 12 on bench, make sure to back it down a little bit if you're starting to feel a little bit beat up. Training evolution is key. Now, this is something I found really interesting. I believe it was on T Nation. It is a quote, a question for Serges Nutrition and a response. The question is, hey, Serge, quick question for you. You say you use roughly 225 for many sets of 12 to 15, and this kind of shines a light on how he trained. Serge used a lot of volume, a lot of sets on the bench press with 225 for 12 to 15 reps, many sets. You had a pretty strong 1-rep max bench. My question is, how often did you work up to a 1-rep max to test how strong you were? And didn't you find training with lighter weights affected your 1-rep max strength? I mean, you're a bodybuilder, so I don't mean to throw in a strength question, but I'm curious. And this is from someone named Robert. All right, so here is Serges Nutrition's response. With a body weight of 95 kilos, I did 225 kilos on bench press once, but I became even stronger when I combined both reps and max. I think I once did 10 reps with 200 kilos. Let that sink in, at a body weight of around 95 kilos. I still hold the French record in the bench press since 40 years. I've never been a power lifter, but 40 years ago, power lifters used to say that bodybuilders just had muscles, but were not so strong. So it was my pleasure to go to some weightlifting championships as a spectator, but at the end, I could not resist humiliating the winner of the weight of my weight class by doing 8 or 10 reps with the same bar he had just been lifting. That was for his max, effectively killing the championship. So the comments about bodybuilders and weightlifters were over. Best regards, Serges Nutrition. All right, let's get into an example of his training. We're not going to dive too deep, but you guys can basically see here. Every day he would work up to somewhere around 2,000 sit-ups. In some cases, I've seen quads and chest work together. In some cases, quads and back, but the volume is pretty reasonable. He would basically do these splits twice a week. So he'd do quads and chest or quads and back twice a week. So for quads, he would do squats for 8 sets of about 12, leg press, 6 sets of about 12, and then leg extension, 6 sets of 12. For chest bench press, about 8 sets of 12, flat bench fly, 6 of 12, incline bench, 6 of 12, incline fly, 6 of 12, and some dumbbell pullovers. That's a lot of work, and that's only 1 out of 2 chest days per week. Now, on his back and hamstrings day, you can see chin-ups for a lot of volume, behind the neck, lat pull-downs. That's an exercise we don't see much these days. Lat pull-downs to the front, and barbell bent over rows. So we did have a big, beefy row in the mix. For hamstrings, lying and standing leg curls. And finally, we have shoulders and arms and calves. We have behind the neck press for 6 sets of 12. We have alternating dumbbell front raise, 6 of 12. Barbell upright rows, cable lateral raises for the arms. Barbell curl superset with tricep pushdowns, 8 sets of 12. Dumbbell curls supersetted with dips, 8 set of 12. And then some calf work. All right, guys, there you have it. Some really quality information on Serges Nutrition. Let me know what you think of this style of training. Let me know what you think of his strength in general. And if you've ever heard of any misconceptions because of his high volume or because of his pump focus that he wasn't strong. I think in the modern landscape and modern training, it's really easy for us to have knee-jerk reactions and look back at anyone that did volume or pump work or field work or even mind-muscle connection work and assume they were weak. Nothing could be further from the truth. If you guys want to get big and strong, you can do volume, you can do feel, you can do mind-muscle, but you need to get your numbers up. Thank you guys for watching. Have a great day.